हेलो एंड अ वेरी वार्म वेलकम टू यू। इंग्लिश में कई बार ऐसे वर्ड्स और फ्रेजेस आते हैं जो हमें कंफ्यूज कर देते हैं, राइट? तो आज हम इन्हीं कुछ अनसुलझे सवालों के जवाब ढूंढेंगे। लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड, शैल वी?
So, have you ever wondered if it's okay to say level best? Or what's the real difference between an ache and a pain? I mean, they both mean dard, right? If you've ever been stuck on things like this, don't you worry, you are in exactly the right place.
And all of this fantastic information comes from a super credible source. We're talking about S. Upandrinji's legendary column in the Hindu newspaper Know Your English, where he has untangled so many of these tricky English knots for us.
And a very special thank you goes to CoEducreation Official for bringing all this knowledge to us in such a creative and beautiful way. It's because of them that these complex topics are right here in front of you looking so simple.
Okay then, let's dive right into our first section and start clearing up some of those common traps that are hiding in our everyday English. So here's the first question that trips a lot of people up. Is it really okay to say, I'll do my level best? Or is just saying best enough? Let's find out. A lot of people think that the word level in level best is just extra. But guess what? Even the Oxford English Dictionary recognizes it. It means to do your absolute utmost, to make every single effort possible. So it turns out it's not wrong at all. So, what's the final verdict? Well, it's a big yes. Using level best is perfectly fine. Just keep in mind it's a little bit on the informal side. So it's great for conversations with friends. For more formal writing, you might want to stick with just best or utmost.
All right, let's move on to our next puzzle. Ache versus pain. दोनों का मतलब दर्द है, so what's the actual difference? I mean, we get a headache, but we have chest pain. Why is that?
It really all comes down to the intensity and how long it lasts. See, an ache is usually a dull, continuous kind of discomfort in a specific area, like a headache or a stomachache. A pain, on the other hand, is sharp, it's more severe, and it can be for a short time or it can last a while. And this is where S. Opendran just nails it with a perfect example to understand this. Think about it. If you say you have a heartache, your friends will offer sympathy, right? But if you say you're having a chest pain, well, they'll rush you to the hospital. That makes the difference in severity crystal clear. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Now we're going to dive into the stories behind some really interesting English idioms. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure you've heard this word before, hogwash. Someone might say, what you're saying is complete hogwash. But what does it actually mean? And where did this weird-sounding word even come from? Believe it or not, the original meaning was super literal. Hog means pig, and wash used to mean the leftover food scraps from the kitchen. So, hogwash was literally the watery, leftover food fed to pigs. And here's how the meaning evolved. Just like that pig feed didn't have much real value, any kind of talk or writing that has no substance, no meaning, came to be called hogwash. So basically, it just means complete nonsense or rubbish. Okay, let's look at our next idiom. To play gooseberry. It sounds so strange, doesn't it? What on earth could it possibly mean? Well, the simple meaning is what we'd call kabab mein haddi banna. When you have a romantic couple and there's that unwanted third person hanging around, that's called playing gooseberry.
The story behind this one is actually pretty charming. Back in the day, couples always had a chaperone with them. So when the couple needed a little bit of privacy, the chaperone would pretend to be busy picking gooseberries nearby. And that's where the phrase comes from. The modern word for it, of course, is being the third wheel.
All right, so we've looked at some older phrases. Now let's jump to a term that doesn't come from centuries ago, but from the world of psychology and a very specific modern event. The term is Stockholm Syndrome. And it's a very strange psychological condition where a hostage actually starts to develop feelings of trust or even affection for the very people who have captured them. So how does this even happen? Well, it usually starts with the hostage feeling very negative, of course. But then, slowly, they might start to understand their captor's point of view. And eventually, in a very strange twist, they begin to feel a bond with them, sometimes even taking their side. So, there you have it. Today, we found the answers to some really tricky English questions. And knowing these little things is what's going to make your English even more powerful and confident.
Let's do a super quick recap. Level best is totally fine for informal chats. An ache is a dull, continuous feeling, while a pain is sharp and severe. Hogwash made the journey from pig feed to nonsense talk. Plain gooseberry is just the old-fashioned way of saying third wheel. And finally, Stockholm Syndrome is that strange bond between a hostage and their captor.
And for all of this amazing knowledge, we are truly grateful to S. Upendranji and his column in The Hindu, Know Your English. He has made learning the little details of English so incredibly interesting.
And now, a question for you. Out of everything we talked about, which word or phrase's story surprised you the most? Was it hogwash, or plain gooseberry, or something else? Let us know down in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching.